Wow, and today we're going to talk about Tank Bigsby and why did the Eagles trade for another running back? Also, Cooper DeJean, moving him to the outside is a huge mistake. And we got a small update on the Jalen Carter possible suspension, possibly not suspended, but let's get straight into it. All right, man, before we get straight into the meat and potatoes, we're going to go ahead and talk about the roster moves or the workout list per se that the Eagles have done. And it's just going to lead straight into the main course of the video. So the Eagles worked out the following players. Well, say today, but as of yesterday, KJ Osborne, Quez Watkins, Mike Hilton, Isaiah Foskey, Jamin Davis, Ladarius Henderson, and Kadeem Telford. Right, so those are the list of players we worked out. And the big name that was on there was Mike Hilton. People clowning Quez Watkins. But Mike Hilton raised flags for Eagles fans because we're like, okay, we're looking at a cornerback, but this dude is strictly a slot cornerback. Does that mean that we're going to move Cooper DeJean to the outside? I would say that would be a huge mistake. And let's listen to Nick Sirianni, why I personally believe that would be a huge mistake.
Hey, good afternoon, Nick. In going back to the offseason, what consideration did you give to making Cooper DeJean a full-time outside cornerback? And what has kept you guys from doing that so far?
Obviously, Coop can do a lot of different things. He can return kicks, he can return punts, he can play inside corner, he can play outside corner. He has ability to play safety. I'm sure he'd be pretty good on offense if we said, hey, we want you to put you on offense. And so, you just make the decisions of where you think he's best, and you go from there. He has flexibility, as we know. I think right now he's one of the best nickels in the NFL, and with the way he plays this football game, or plays this game, with his physicality, with his ability to match routes, with his his ability to use his mind and think of how routes are coming at him, and so I just think he can do a lot of things there. Again, flexibility to be able to move him around. We'll see what we do with that, how that goes. But I do believe that he's one of the better players at his position in the NFL, and so we'll just keep repping him at different things and continuing to rep him at nickel and prepare him at that position.
We'll finish with Jeff.
Heard what Nick Sirianni said is that Cooper DeJean is the best top 5 slot corner in this league. I think moving him out of his best position to try to fix another position will be a huge mistake. And I keep saying this, like, yes, Adoree Jackson was bad, but you did not give Jacorian Bennett a chance. Did not give him a chance yet to see what he got. But I think moving a position that a guy is top 5, probably the best, moving from there to outside, maybe he's top 15 outside, I think you're weakening position to try to help another position. I look at it like how Jeff Stoutland look at the O-line. Like, I'm not going to move my right guard to left guard to try to fix the left guard, and now the right guard, now that position is weak. So I don't think we should move pieces like that around, but maybe we'll do it, but I highly doubt it. We got to see what Jacorian Bennett got before we make a drastic move, because Matt McWilliams and those guys not going to come in and give you the same production as a Cooper DeJean. So me personally, I think moving him to the outside will be a huge mistake. Huge mistake. But before we get into the other topics, we got to shout out the show sponsor, ProphetX. ProphetX is a new peer-to-peer sports exchange where you could play against other fans and not the house. That means better lines and even a better chance to set your own odds. You can click the link in the description if you're interested in using ProphetX, or you could download the app, put in promo code EagleOwl to get 1.5% ProphetX cash back for your first 30 days up to $200. As you see here, I'm recording this at night. So right now we have the Minnesota Vikings and the Bears going on. Last time I checked, the score was 24-27. As you see here, there are different markets. Now you see here at the bottom, like MLB, multiple markets to go against other fans, and again, not the house. That's what make this ProphetX app so different. Again, if you're interested, download the app, put in promo code Eagle Out, or you could just simply click the link in the description. Thank you, ProphetX, for sponsoring the show. Now let's get back to the video. All right, so let's talk about the other topics, and let's talk about Tank Bigsby. The Eagles had traded for Tank Bigsby. We traded like a fifth and a sixth for him. And I'm like, that's not a cornerback too. That's not a safety, even though I don't think we need one. But I'm just going off what y'all saying. Another running back. We got Saquon. You got Will Shipley. You have A.J. Dillon. Like, you got a strong running back group. You can even bring somebody up from the practice squad. And my immediate thought was, Will Shipley is dealing with a rib injury. Maybe it's more serious than what we think. And again, that was my immediate thought because we made some roster changes. Now Patrick Johnson is officially on the 53-man roster. And then we signed Montrell Johnson to the practice squad. I'm like, okay, Will Shipley, there's something going on. Before the trade even went down, that's the first thing I seen. And I was going to talk about maybe Will Shipley might go on IR or whatever. I don't know what's going on with him. And then this trade, I'm like, oh yeah, this confirmed my suspicion. But multiple Philly reporters start coming out like, no, this has nothing to do with Will Shipley's injury. This is more with, we need a threat at returner. So we looking at the returner on our team, and we don't really have a threat. Even with Britton Covey back, we need a threat. Because when you look at the season, I haven't harped on it, but I've been watching the games more and more. A lot of these teams are getting really good field position because the kickers are not kicking it to the end zone anymore. And it's more returns. So imagine setting up the Eagles at the 40, the 35, 45, hell, maybe even getting a touchdown out of special teams and these kick/punt returns, and we don't have that real threat. And then two, you don't want to risk Jahad Dotson possibly getting hurt doing this. So why not get a legitimate guy? Tank Bigsby, I think he was RB1, RB2 in Jacksonville. Had about 700 plus yards last year, couple touchdowns. Like, the dude was balling last year, but they like the rookie that they really have. So I guess they like, look, give us some assets for Tank Bigsby, a fifth and a sixth, and we got you. So Tank Bigsby come to Philadelphia, loaded running back room. Let's see how we use him, not just as a returner, but this is like a good future pick because, like, when A.J. Dillon, I guess, leave next year or whatever, you got a stacked room. And Saquon Barkley another year, you're going to have Tank Bigsby, and then you're going to have Will Shipley. That's a solid room. And then maybe you got somebody on the practice squad like a Montrell Johnson or just another UDFA coming out of college next year, or maybe you draft the running back really late, 6th, 7th round or whatever. But again, man, your running back room is stacked. I really like Tank Bigsby. Maybe we use him like in gadget plays. This is a solid move. But Eagles fans, as we thought, if you're going to make another move, why not go for CB2? But again, we did that already. That's what a lot of people forget. We did that already. We just got to give Jacory and Bennett a shot. So the Tank Bigsby move is a pretty solid move. I'm not going to lie. Then think about RB3, RB4 to trade for, but it's a solid move when you really look at it, look at the landscape of things, especially with Will Shipley dealing with what he's dealing with. You got a solid unit, man. Just in Saquon Barkley, A.J. Dillon, and Tank Bigsby, like that's an insane room if Will Shipley got to miss time. But speaking of missing time, let's talk about Jalen Carter. So we all been waiting for the news. Like, I'm up 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, what's going to happen with Jalen Carter? Got absolutely no news. But this is the closest thing I got to news. Let's listen to what Nick Sirianni got to say.
Ed.
Hey, Nick. I know you said you wanted the discipline actions regarding Jalen Carter to be private, but since we will all see the game on Sunday, I was wondering if you could share with us if you anticipated having him for the full amount of snaps or if discipline is going to impact his availability for the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm going to keep everything that I do with him private, regardless of if you see it on Sunday or not. Everything, every conversation, whether it's a personal conversation, a disciplinary thing, all those things will always be handled privately. I just think that's the way to go about doing team business and when you're doing things with a football team.
He just said we'll see Sunday, whatever we handle in-house. I'm not going to bring it to the media. That is the closest thing I got. But the positive news is that usually when they suspend somebody and say if they did some egregious Sunday, they usually had a suspension on Monday. But this is really positive news on Jalen Carter that they don't have anything out. It looked like it's starting to go more and more to a fine. Even Mike Florio said, like, look, they haven't came out with anything, so maybe he just get fined. We'll see. But the theme was of the all season sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is like, yo, you do this and do that. That's why they stopped certain celebrations in the end zone because they are pushing this sportsmanship stuff. So it's either they're gonna make Jalen Carter an example, or they just gonna do what they've been doing for years. When you usually spit on a player, which is disgusting, they just give you a hefty fine. But maybe this year it could be different. Maybe not. That's why it's probably taking the lead so long. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. But we just gotta wait and see what the Jalen Carter thing. And so that's they reported. I'm on it. I'm sorry. That's the only update I have for you guys about Jalen Carter. Like your other Eagles content creators, reporters, there's really nothing much out there. But the positive news for Eagles fans, nothing came out Monday. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hey, man, what do you think? How do you feel? Moving Cooper DeJean to the outside is a huge mistake. Also, Tank Bigsby, like, do y'all like that move? Or y'all just really wanted that CB2 and Jalen Carter? This is Eagle Al, man. I'm up.